Good morning, everyone. Good morning. How are y'all? Y'all are silly. Inkwell Monster, 25 months of sub, and thank you so much. Almost wore a hat today. Almost wore a hat today. Rip. Rip on y'all. See, so now you got to end the poll because now you can manipulate it. Ooh, I'm a little slow this morning, Chad. Like I'm like energy level, like is not up since yesterday afternoon. I'm just like, whew, slept good, had caffeine, just, I don't know, energy levels low. How are y'all? Hope y'all's energy levels are higher than mine. Thank you, Slumberland Studio. Appreciate that. Working on it, working on it. We good. We good. So yesterday, y'all, we were talking. Kirby was so tired. That's the thing. Toby is not. He is like, I'm the only one here right now, and he's just following me around the house. He's like, "What's up? You gonna play? You gonna play?" Good morning, Lady Tamare. Excited your Ajodo should be here Friday. Ajodo was my pin of the day for most of yesterday. So we do that. Yeah, Toby's not having my tiredness, although he's just sitting over here yawning, so he might be ready to take a nap. You got both kids home sick. Why is everyone getting sick? The only thing getting me through work is the new field notes in my mailbox in my dorm. Anyone get the new field notes in yet? I've gotten a tweet says that the paper is legit. Like I was thinking it was probably going to be good for fountain pens if you're a fountain pen user. I'm not a subscriber right now and I haven't bought any. So have y'all got the new field notes? Son has a cold. Daughter was throwing up. Oof, you sound like y'all got it bad. That's not good. So will Toby bork today? Yeah, I think that's a fair. I think it's a toss up today. I think it's a toss up. So there you go. So y'all were talking about limited editions yesterday on stream. We were asking what we could talk about. So we'll do that today here via a tray of pens sitting in front of me. After going from journaling stream to journaling stream, I now have 5 websites that I want to order from. That's how it happens, Crafty Becky. Crafty Becky. So many y'alls this morning. Yeah, I think it's because I'm in slow mode. So slow mode makes me more y'alls. What's happening, y'alls? So much going around. We're just coming out of our latest round. Yeah, I'm just allergies. Feeling good. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's just what's kind of like got my like energy level just kind of dropped. Just allergy stuff. Thoughts on the new Sailor Soda Pop Blue exclusive? So let's pull that up real quick. Hey Sarah, thank you for the Chicken Ink link. We had pure enjoyment out of that this week on the podcast. It was great. Let's see here. All right. Yeah, the pin of the year. Oops. Chicken ink is very important. You're not gonna let me open this in a new tab, are you? There we go. All right. It's awesome. Right? I'll order the Midori MD block memo pads. I'm gonna have to get that too. Have we figured out how to get the chicken ink? There was a lot of steps to subscribe to whatever platform it is, and some like what y'all were saying yesterday was like the it's like a messenger type of platform that they're on, like a WeChat type of situation. So my question about this, and this is a good jumping off point, and we can jump all over. I don't really have a set plan today, but is this not, how much different is this than like Lucky Charm and some of these other ones? Like, I think this is absolutely drop dead gorgeously stunning. I also feel like I've seen it 5 times in the last 2 years. Am I delusional? Right? That's what I feel. Why do all the sailors seem just the same variation on blue? Right? So like Lucky, what I call it Lucky Charms. Was it called Lucky Charms? Like this is like the big release. Like this is the annual 2020 release, 2022 release. And I'm like, well, didn't we just have this each of the last 2 years? And like, okay, yeah. Like it doesn't, so it's like two different conversations for me, right? It doesn't exclude it from being amazing. And I feel like I've seen it 100 times. Right? So like that's kind of the balance I'm trying to juggle, right? It's legitimately great, I think. Like for me, like I love this pen. I feel like it went in the copy machine, right? This one is sparkly. It does have the sparkly difference. I mean, I think it's going to do extremely well, right? Um So yeah, like yeah, hi, have you met Sailor? So we're gonna like I brought all my sailors in here to like specifically focus on this kind of today. To like when do you make the decision to try to like purchase like, you know, what's the difference in limited editions and special editions, right? Is this what how does do you classify this as a limited edition, special edition? Is there a difference between the terminology, right? My inset photo froze. I'm still here. I have been having problems this morning though. Don't leave you hanging. Are y'all still there? Give me some something in the chat. Still works for me. It looks okay on my side. But I did have a problem right before we went live, so we'll see. Working good. Okay. So yeah, this kind of thing like Sailor makes me real appreciate Ben Walsh and Ian Schoen. I'm looking for innovation now. So yeah. Good morning, Cal. So yeah, like there's a million different ways you can take this conversation, right? What about the people who are just getting into this? Like, you know, we are all at different stages in our pendum. Ian dropped new stuff this morning. Shoot me a link. I'll pull it up and we'll take a look at it. What's up, Inky Love? So, like, you know, I should probably plug in my camera. That's how I'm feeling this morning, y'all. A little bit slow on the uptake. I don't have my camera in to show you a pen. Let's see here. Good morning, Dixie Hellcat. All right, we'll pull this up in just a second. Nice. That's a Dixie cup. All right, we'll come back to that. But thinking of this pen right now, right, that's on the screen, versus bruh. Versus this pen that I oohed and awed, what, 7 years ago? When was this? 2014, 2015, right? Like, what's the difference between me oohing and awing over this and then someone oohing and awing over this one, the soda pop? Like, it's legit. Like, it's great, right? Thank you, Sarah. So yeah, so like when we think about limited edition pens and special edition pens, I think the first thing, irregardless of like just you know, the limited nature of these things or the special release or the annual edition nature of these, regardless, thank you, Tony, irregardless, I'm gonna keep saying irregardless now. Like, you know, if you tell me it's not, I am. The first thing you have to consider is are you going to use the pen, right? Like, I hope that the first thing we do when we think about spending a lot of money on a pen, because the Sailor pen is no joke, is this one, what, $390? You know, that's a lot of money to spend to not use a pen, right? So yeah, tea time, right? So that's like the biggest consideration in like these limited editions and chasing things down and not getting caught up in the ooh shiny stuff. And we'll talk a lot about this as we go through this. Let's look at these Shones real quick. So this is the Dixie cup. That's what I call it. Does this have a color name? Aqua Jazz. This is the OG Dixie cup. Cool. I like that one. That's pretty sweet. Is this Dark Jellyfish? Nope, that's that one. Oh, that's pretty nice. Dark Unicorn Reprise. I like that one. FedEx Confetti. Glacier Ice. Lisa Frank. 3D Orange Spice. So Ian's making some cool stuff. I wish Ian was coming to Atlanta. Yeah, is he not? I don't even know. Yeah, I mean, that's a Dixie cup, right? Yeah, these are great. So Saffron Cement Matte. Did I not click that one? Whoops. Oh yeah, I did. Oh no, I didn't. Yeah, that's crazy. That's cool. Oh, got a baby on the way. Nice. How do I not know this? Yeah, looks good. So I wanted to go through some of my limited edition pens and try to sort out like why I have certain things. You know, why are things like that limited? You know, how do you not get caught up in the FOMO of all the things, right? So I didn't really sort these out beforehand. Let's see here. Except I added a couple in here. So let's smand out of the way. So y'all seen this tray mostly before, right? So this isn't nothing new, but I thought I was going to go like pull out some limited edition pens, and I thought most of my sailors are somewhat limited, but not everything is. So let's take these three right here as kind of the baseline for what I talk about limited edition type of stuff, right? So this is this is my Pizza Planet pen. So this is the YY Pen Club. We call it the Pizza Planet pen because it has, wow, it has a lot of glare is what it has. I don't know if that helps or not. Not really. So it has the kind of the Pizza Planet font around the cap band. And it's a frosted, and this was at the time where I was looking for my first Rialo. And I didn't want a stock Rialo. Yeah, happy, nerdy, and knitting. Like, I think that's why we like brands like Kaweco that do like interesting things but are very like, you know, cost appropriate but allow you to get something that's like, you know, more personal, like in color or style, things like that. So when I was going to buy my first Rialo, this is probably one of the, out of all the pens in the tray, this one and this one are the newest. Well, I guess this one's probably the newest, the Wicked Witch, but we'll get to that in a minute. So this was like a really, really exclusive pen that I just kind of lucked into. So I was talking about wanting a Rialo for myself, but all the base Rialos are pretty lame, honestly. The base Rialo is just like the black with the gold trim. Like, they don't have a lot of Rialo options. So someone hit me up saying, hey, this is at the time I was asking this, the YY Pen Club was doing their own custom edition. So that's why I got this one. I paid it like a very, very premium for this one. But this is the kind of limited edition that I enjoy because it's pretty rare. Not that the rarity really matters, but it really fits my style. It fits my aesthetic. It fits what I wanted in a pen. I got an ultra fine nib grind on this, right? This is Nagahara did this at the 2019 San Francisco Pen Show. Would that have been the last one I went to? So it's got a needle point. So like this one was a limited edition. It's like super special. It's something I like very, very much. So these fall in the same category. These were Bung Box limited editions. Yeah, that clean nib is neat, right? Like I really, really like how they did that. They just kind of like minimalized the whole thing, except that made it really expensive for whatever reason. Like I think they were only made like 100 of them or something like that, but it was like $500 for a Rialo. These two also fall into the mostly like the very limited edition categories. These are different Bung Box exclusives. This is one of the first ones I saw that kind of got me turned over. Hey, good morning, Claire. That got me into discovering, oh, there's really fun sailor pins out there that I will like, right? So this pink sparkle with the black ionized plating and the little charm on the top, and then the matching dark nib. So like this was the first release of the Pink Love back in whenever it was. So it's really, really neat. And then one of the more recent ones I have is the Fujiyama Blue, this is like the third version. So they changed the finials between versions. So these really fit my aesthetic. Still no Kingfisher, but that's a good point to discuss. Like the Kingfisher is one of my favorite. It's kind of got this blue, these different shades of blue with a red finial. And it's like you could chase these down and hunt them down, but like how many do you need, right? That's another thing you have to consider when you're thinking about these limited editions. One, am I going to use it? Because you're paying a premium for it, right? So what does that look like as far as like your budget, your FOMO-ness? Like, do you have to have it or do you just want it, right? It's like having these discussions with yourself. So like this one I loved when it came out, kind of like the Kingfisher that Written in Rice is talking about, but I didn't get it, right? I didn't get it at the time, and I just waited, right? Waited until I was like for sure that I wanted to spend the money on this. So this is like the third edition, and like that kind of stuff doesn't matter to me in the end, right? Which edition this is. It just matters if I enjoy the pen, right? And did I spend my money wisely? And am I happy with it? And like, I'm ecstatic with it, right? It doesn't have to be, something I had to chase down to be happy for like any type of FOMO situation, right? So those, I would say, these were the very limited store editions. Then Corinne brings up a point that is the second kind of group, is the Platinum Kumpu is more of like the 2022 blue soda we just had pulled out. That's what most of the rest of this stuff is. There's actually one more Bung Box limited edition in here. I'll talk about that in a second. But almost all of these, so this is the Wicked Witch, this is the Royal Tangerine, both of these Royal Tangerine, the Sky, and the Mosaic. All of these were like more of the wide release annual series type editions where they're not near as limited as these. Hey, thank you, Evan. 35 months. Let's go. And that's where the products like the Platinum Kumpu fall in, right? Or like maybe like the Pilot 912s that we talked about on the podcast yesterday, right? Where they're just like the annual release. Like the Sailor Blue Soda is like a perfect one where they talk about 2022 edition, North America edition, all of those types of things. That's where these fall. So this is the Pro Gear Sky. This was my first King of Pen. So yeah, like just a great highlight pen of my library. So it fits my style, fits my aesthetic. It's translucent. It's rhodium plated. It's got a great nib. But you should know that even though maybe they ran out when you finally decided to buy, it's like, that's okay. There's going to be more. You could probably find one in the secondary market for not that expensive. Don't drive yourself crazy or go over budget or, risk your finances to like go buy a pen, right? Like we don't have to do these things, right? Same thing with the Tangerine. I got this, like this was at the time where it sounds crazy now, but these were like in the 600s at the time, which is really, really crazy expensive, but now they're like in the 800s, right? So like I have no real interest in the Pro Gears at that price. And this one, the Mosaic, is a rarer one just because it was made a long time ago, right? It's not a current model, and they sold out a bunch of them at the time. And while it just kind of happened that it's more limited now because people want it. It's a desirable pen, but I didn't buy it for that. I buy it because I liked it and wanted it. Where's your Sailor USA, Brad? I don't know. What is a Sailor USA? Any Sailor USA? You could buy a King of Pen or a full silver Elwood. Yeah, like like I just paid like for literal silver. Then you have kind of not. These are more premium editions that are not limited or special, but they're more of the upgrade editions, right? So I'm gonna get the names wrong. Imperial Black and what's this one? One of them's Imperial Black and one of them's I get these names confused all the time. My memory is short. Yeah, I talk about a lot. Black Luster, thank you. So Imperial Black is a matte one, and then Black Luster is a shiny one with a metal section. So these are not limited or special. They're premium inventory pens, if you will, right? So you can get these for normal retail. Oh, is the Sailor USA one the one we lampooned? I don't know. We lampooned a lot of Sailors. Oh yeah, when they did the Olympic one, they released it at the time of the Olympics, right? That one. Yeah, I think it was just like a Olympic thirst bucket release. So this gets back. This one is the Wicked Witch. I get this one confused with this one. So this one is Ink of the Witch. This is one of the Bung Box ones, more exclusive ones. And this is the Wicked Witch, which was more of the annual releases. So you see how confusing this is, that like someone like Sailor, like the big companies, behemoth companies like Sailor, this was a limited edition seasonal release. This is exactly like this blue soda pop that's out right now, right? So it'll be available for probably like the next 6 months. Thank you temporarily, Orion. And Dixie Hellcat, what Dixie Hellcat is talking about, let's see. Bought secondhand, bought secondhand, bought secondhand, bought secondhand, bought secondhand, new, used. So yeah, like you can get these things. Ever sell that Rialo? Which Rialo? This one or this one? I have 2 Rialos. So I have the Ink of the Witch, but this is the annual release one, right? So great pen. So I bought this one from Schmevelin. Hello, Schmevelin. The Witch, gotcha. So yeah, this is the Ink of the Witch one. This is the cool one because it looks black, but it's actually burgundy translucent. It's just like 10% translucent. Like it's like really, really hard to see through. This is the one I had to show y'all with the light. Yeah, the finial is great. So that's what this one looks like. It's just really hard to see. It looks just like a black pen when it's not lit. So it's really, really neat. And then there's the finial. Little rod and witch hat there. So it's very cool. Very cool. So, oops. That's not my flashlight. So the point in all this is trying to figure out what's limited and what's special, right? there's all different categories. Sailor is the hardest one to like pin down for what's special, what's interesting, what's unique about each pen. Store exclusives, standard retail, annual releases, right? That's kind of the grouping of these. So, these are the hardest to find or hardest to acquire, the store specials. These are not that hard to find because they're just either like annual releases or stock releases. So they're available for like 6 or 12 months at a time, made in much higher quantities than something like these. So yeah, like a lot of the difference between these pens is what Toasty Street was saying earlier. A lot of the stores in Japan have access to different parts and materials that like Sailor North America has, right? So these stores get, this pink material with black plating. Well, you're going to have to jump through some hoops to get something like that, right? Whereas, the annual releases like the Soda Pop, you can get through your pen retailers or other things like that. So there you go. That's kind of the difference between these. And then you have like older weird things like this. I just picked up at the Atlanta Pen Show, 3 years ago. This is just the older Sapporo Mini that they don't make anymore. Right. So this isn't a limited or exclusive or anything. It just is not made anymore. So what category does that fall in? Right. It's old stock type of pen. These vanishing points are actually very limited. Another Bung Box exclusive. This is the Energia. And then this was Pilot's. These are two good comparable pens, right? 27 was the year of the cheap minis. It's a regular mini, I guess, I think. This was when the minis were just the minis. So these are two obviously similar pens, similarly orange, but Bung Box did an exclusive for these. There was like 100 of these made, where this is the annual pilot release of the Vanishing Point. This was like I don't even know what year. This was an annual release, same with the pink one that they've done. So this one, more exclusive, harder to find. This one was a wider release, but still just not very available nowadays, right? So yeah, there are two versions of the Energia, and then there's a blue kind of swirly one that's called a different name that also has the silver and the gold trim as well. Should have the year on the barrel. It just says limited edition. Pilot limited edition. The one on the left is not a Decimo. It's a standard Vanishing Point. It probably just looks different because of the swirl pattern. Probably like changes like the depth of like manipulates the width of it. But no, it's a standard Vanishing Point. I do not own a Decimo. If I go to the Atlanta Pen Show, and maybe I can find a cool Decimo there that someone might have. So that was the difference between these, is extremely rare, limited, more available, but still kind of annual release limited. And sometimes like you see these annual release ones, kind of like the Kumpu was, right? They'll sell out immediately, even though there's 4,000 of them made, and they just get swooped up real quick because they were popular. So, and then Platinum UEF, standard stock pen. So I don't know that I have like a complete point in this, but Sailor's a good product line to discuss because you're never without choice in Sailor, right? It's just the different levels of limitedness that they are. You're not the only one, Alan. I was just talking about when I started how just like kind of wiped out I am. So, they range from store exclusive limited editions to annual release special editions. Like I don't know. I don't even know that I could define the difference between limited and special, but these seem more like a special edition, is in that they had a broader release, a wider release, even if it's just like a country-based release, right? North America, say, they're more available. A lot of retailers carry them, and when they're gone, they're kind of gone, but they're not extremely limited, like 100 units of this pen or whatever it is, or 100 units of this pen. They're not just like crazy limited in that aspect. So that's kind of it. The one thing these have in common, all of them, is none of them are inked right now, which is problematic, right? Which is why we go through and thin the herd from time to time, even though like these, a lot of these would fall into like my top tier pens. Like I wouldn't I wouldn't sell them even if I was using them. Or excuse me, I wouldn't sell them if I wasn't using them. A lot of them have, a special story, a special meaning, things like that. But, some of them maybe you do need to sell them if you haven't used them in a while. I missed what's the translucent one with the light blue ends in the middle was. So this is the Fujiyama blue from Bungbox. So they released this one. They've done 3 series of these so far. So when they do, this one and Pink Love, when they have a popular pen, they'll do a batch of them, right? And then a couple years later, they might do a version 2 and then change the finials on them to initiate the different versions. I was using the Bungbox 5th for pictures the other day, so it's sitting back there. So that's probably like this extra space I have in here. So that's that one goes in this category as well. So the Bungbox 5th anniversary edition. So they will reissue these pens in these materials and then change something like the finial. Like this finial's changed like 3 times. Have they done 3 of these and 2 or 3 of these? Like these are some of the most popular ones, but they're almost like in different series, if you will. So I have so many purple sailors and I will still want another if I see it. Yeah, the purple translucent one they did, like the Imperial purple, was really great. That one was kind of a bright purple translucent with gold trim. It was really, really nice. So yeah, my 5th anniversary probably goes right there. I had cleaned it up recently and I had it, so the sailors and photographing, the 5th anniversary is the one that fell and then became a PO nib. So that's the one I've damaged. Cool Net, 17 months of 7, thank you. So again, I don't know that I have a real point, but you really, really, one look at this tray shows you that you don't need to be in a rush to buy anything, right? We were kind of talking about limited and special editions, mostly Skogsy. So don't be in a rush to buy anything. If the Pink Love is your perfect pen, it might be re-released, before too long. So don't feel like you have to have anything. Don't break your budget. Do any of our chats have a point? That's good. That's good. There's always going to be more, right? You look at this right now and like, this is a very clear reason why you shouldn't chase after this stuff, because I don't have a single one of these pens inked up in use right now. Now I'm going to change that soon. I just need to clean some pens, right? So I'll put them in a rotation, right? Like I've been chomping at the bit to get the Fujiyama blue back in the rotation. Like I use the Sky Blue, the Witch, and the Fujiyama blue are probably my 3 most used out of these, right? Or somebody may be thinning their herd and you can score your grails for insanely low cost. Yeah, totally. So, limited editions, tap into like our most crazy instincts, right? It's like, oh, I gotta have it now, and every now and then it's okay to jump at that. If all of your criteria are met as far as usability, budget, style, access, all of those things. After that, like even if you're like missing like one of those things, like if it fits your style but you don't have the budget, there's no reason to stretch to try to acquire something, to acquire a thing that we don't need, right? So you just wait. You wait for that next opportunity because there's always going to be one. I promise you. I promise you. For me, the stuff I collect is pretty rare, so when I see it, I buy it. FOMO is real. Yeah, so there's like mega nuance in all of this stuff, right? Like the nuance is huge and varied, and personal, right? So there's a lot of personal stuff. There's also some fun having a backstory in a pen. Yeah, I love the stories of it. Yeah, like I can tell you, like if I bought these from someone, like I said earlier, I'm like, oh, I know I bought this from Schmevelin, right? So it's good. Because of my ADHD, lack of impulse control, I'm slowly going to go through the brands and interested in see what I've missed, making a list of must-haves in an impulse pen purchase. If it doesn't fit, it goes on a maybe list for when I go shopping on purpose. Yeah, so tracking these things, knowing your habits, keeping a list of things you're interested in is always a good idea. That way, like the Ink of the Witch pen came to me secondhand, but I'd already kind of like gone through the process of, oh, I like it. I didn't have to jump for it the first time. But if it came up and the time was right and the budget was right to make a purchase like that and the access happened, I was ready to make the purchase at that point, right? You know what helps? I purchased a Tokoya Craft 40 pen box, so that's it. 40 pens that I will use only. Yeah. So like it's good to have like self-imposed limits. Like I want to get to that point. I don't know if I ever will, but that's what I talk about. Trying to get the tier list pens. That's a whole process, right? Out of all these, like what would be in the top tier? Like probably not all of them. If I'm being completely honest, not all of these are going to be tier 1 pens, right? So what do you do with the ones that aren't, even if they are special in their own way, right? So it's something I think about, trying to refine, my pens. So there you go. That's me rambling about limited editions and special editions, even though I don't know that we actually got anywhere, but like just be super careful. Is all I can say. Don't, Brad, make yourself use them. That's the thing, is I can't have this many pens inked up at once, right? So yeah, I do make myself use them, but it's on a more stricter rotation where, I'm at about 10 pens inked up right now, and like that's enough. So I'm not going to go in and ink some of these up, even though, like I said, like just go through them left to right. Yeah. But no, like been thinking about this pen a lot. Like I need to ink this pen up. I like it very much. I want to use it. So they end up matriculating to the top of the most used list, right? That's kind of how I sort them, all right? So like the Imperial Black, I don't use very much, right? So what should I do with that? Should I sell it? I should do something with it, right? Like if I'm going to pick the Wicked Witch over the Imperial Black every time, then there's no need for me to own that pen. Right? That's kind of how I do it. I put pens on a list and try to hold off for a bit, then when I go back to the list later, have some clarity. That's very similar to how I do it, Skogsy. Someone I know used a random number generator to pick their next pen and ink from a spreadsheet. That's super smart. So you have room to ink 2 more for your Galen leather case? Yeah, I do. It's in the other room, so. But that's how I think about it, right? If I come to this group of pens and I'm always going to choose this one instead of this one when I'm looking for like a dark, moody pen, well, what's the point of owning this pen, right? If it's never going to be chosen over something that's kind of similar. So we think about that. I think about that a lot, right? So my most used pens in this box are this one, this one, this one, and then probably this one, right? So those are my most used. So like I would purposefully try not to use those next. choose something different as we go. Like I haven't used this one in a while. Like I need to use this one. I haven't used this one in a while. I need to use that one. Stuff like that. But then if I never choose these, well, what are they doing here, right? If they never get chosen in that second tier, why do I have them? So, anywho, that's kind of how I think about things. I have definitely, like, the limited edition fascination definitely changes the longer you're in this hobby, the less interesting the limited edition comes, because you've solved a lot of your needs and desires and wants before that. So like 5 years ago, Blue Soda Pop comes out, I'm probably jumping through the screen, right? Today, I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but like I've learned to know that I can have access to that later or something similar. So, question on the need to. Does that mean you want to, or that you feel obligated? I never feel obligated to buy anything. If you ever feel obligated to buy any pen, you're doing something incorrectly. Like, that's not a mindset you ever want to have, right? Like, I'm sitting here showing you a tray of thousands of dollars worth of pens that I do not need to live a good life. Yeah. So, need to on using? Yeah. No. So, Papa Lock, in the way I think about it is, I don't ever need to use a pen, but I know if I haven't used a pen, I don't need to own it. Does that better answer your question? Right? So if I continually skip past a pen to choose something that's sitting around it or similar, then I don't need to own it eventually. I still enjoy chasing limited editions, but now I'm looking for stuff that's more rare and unique. Yeah. That's a good place to be, right? You've refined what you're looking for, the things that you want, the things that fit your style and your tastes and things like that. So yeah, the larger run size is less appealing. Yeah, because you can end up kind of getting them like anytime, right? Yeah, so like the ones, if I keep saying I need to use this pen and I never use it, I need to sell it, right? So I've gone through 2 big batches of sales, and I need, like, I've made the easy decisions. Now it's time to make the hard decisions, right? I could probably pull 4 pens out of here right now to sell, just looking at how infrequently I've used them, right? So, stuff like that. So it's definitely like not unique to me, to where you're getting into a hobby, you're learning, you start to like climb the mountain of stuff, right? And then you refine and you kind of get the top of the mountain, and then you start kind of go back down to like the bottom and refine it. If you want to get rid of the mosaic, let me know. Yeah, I don't know. I never use it, right? It's one of the coolest pens I own that I never use, but I don't like, that one's a little bit different in category. It's kind of its own category, right? But yeah, like I don't know that I'm opposed to selling it. Like, why do I have it if I don't use it? It's got a stock broad nib. That's why I don't use it, and I don't want to modify it, right? Been listening to the Pen Addict podcast for a few years, and I'm still happy with my Fuse Twisby Ecos and Lamy Safaris. Totally get that. Yep, for sure. But as I was going through thinking about limited editions this morning, like, this is where most of my limited editions are. When I look at the other pens that I have, most of them are pretty normal, releases. Like, I don't think I have anything that's, if I have something that's hard to come by, it's more that it's probably just old than like a Murex, right? Than it was a limited edition, right? The Leonardos that I have are stock pretty much. The Montegrappas that I have gone through the product lines, right? It's very few pens that I chase now. Thinking about that. Brad, check out the Nemosine 6 stub. I know, I know. I have a good pin to put that in, actually. I have an Aboya ebonite pin that's got a Bach fitting. So you're saying I should put it in the Bach fitting or the Yobo fitting? But yeah, I mean, like OG and Tristy says, you know how much I love my Lamy Safaris and Kaweco Sports. That's what I use all the time. So do I need to have this stuff here as much, right? It's good to self-audit your stuff as you go. I feel like some people think they need to get all the limited editions, and I don't understand it. You're never going to use them. Yeah, it depends. So like, field notes was a thing for a while, and I did that, but I don't know. Like I've never really done that with retros. Like any retro I've bought to use, right? Like if you put things to buy things to use first, then there's nothing to worry about really, as long as you have the budget. Is the limited edition market bigger than it was 5 years ago? Probably. More stores and distributors and retailers have more access than they have ever had to manufacturers, I think, even in like the last 5 years. So I would say yes. Brad, you almost never talk about Monte Grappa or Pelicans. Reason? I don't know much about them. Okay, so those are two different types of pins for me. So Monte Grappa, I love to use. So I'm a big fan of Monte Grappa. Pelicans, I love to discuss because I think they're elite and premium, except they don't work for me, right? They don't fit my style. So I talk about, like, I love Monte Grappa's pins over the last, like, say 5 years. They've kind of changed how they build pins. The styles that they release are really good. They changed nib manufacturers and really tighten up their nib QC, and the shapes and materials and barrels are point on. I'm a big fan of the Monte Grappa Elmo, the Monte Grappa Mia are my two kind of brands, and the Monte Grappa. Those are my three favorites. Oh, those are all steel nib models. They all run like around $200-$300. They're elite. Pelicans are some of the best pins on the market. Maybe the singular best pin on the market from like a quality writing performance perspective. I don't get on with their nibs very well, right? So I love the styles, I love the shapes, I love the mechanisms. I recommend them extremely highly. I own very few because they don't fit how I write, and even to get those nibs modified, they're still not right for me because they're so big. So that's the general. Yet nothing about our love for this stuff is rational facts. Field notes as my work notebook. Yeah. Just, like I said, well, I've said it 1,000 times. I've said it for years. As long as your priority is to use the stuff you buy, you're going to be in good shape. Oh, yes, Slumber in Studio. I wasn't using that salmon retro, so I sold it. Couldn't have been happier. Right. Yeah, Pelicans don't work for everyone, but when they work for you, they're absolutely divine, which is why they're my favorite. Yeah, and that's why I recommend them so highly, because of how good they are. It doesn't mean that they're my personal favorite pen, right? My pen baby is the Monte Grappa Harry Potter of Ravenclaw. Nice. I have so much trouble paying more than $100 for a steel nib pen. I got over that a long time ago because of the way I write, right? And the type of nib that I like. Like, I tend to prefer the firmness of steel, so I get over it. I like it. It's never a thing for me to pay $300 for a pen with a steel nib, just because, like, I don't get caught up in that aspect of it. But that's a personal thing too, right? I'm the opposite of you, Brad. I love the nibs and hate everything else about them. Yeah. Yeah, I don't hate the nibs. They just literally don't work for me, and I've tried. Leonardo got me over my gold nib snobbery. Yeah, we all have our things, right? Right? Just like Schmevelin. Like, that's a totally fair stance to take. Well, if I'm going to pay that price, I want the gold nib. Well, for me, the way I write, a really extra fine steel nib is going to write better than an extra fine gold nib for me. So do I want to pay the premium? Like, I consider it that way for me. You know, it's just one of those little personal things. Yeah, the fit matters, like the woodshed pins, like you're saying. I warn people that Pelican EF is approximately a Pilot M, and I've measured them. Yeah, so that's why you talked about, like, I just talked about the Pilot Custom 74 medium that I got. I purposefully bought that, and I'm instantly getting it changed. But for some reason, the Pelican nibs are so wide, the way they're designed, like the wings are so wide that anytime I want to get one like modified smaller or like a cursive italic, it doesn't aesthetically work for me. I also found that I didn't get more like giving a pin to someone selling it. Yep. Not possible because of the price always, but yeah, for sure. Absolutely. What's up, Strings and Pedals? Strings and Pedals makes limited edition pins. All right. Alternate suggestion for rodeo pads. I use lots of paper just for a change, grid or dot. Moramon, Nemocene. If you still need like the pad style. Moramon, and then who else does like a good pad style? I think Moramon's probably the thing. Yeah, I do. I prefer Moramon. Blank slate, you can customize kind of how you do it. Midori pads are good. Life makes a bank paper pad. Yeah. What did you say? Grid or dot though? Yeah. I still say Nemocene. Moramon. They have to be loose. Like, you mean you need to be like perforated, like pull out sheets, or like literally like loose, like glue bound or loose sheets. Because if you want loose sheets or glue bound, you can do Life or Midori. Yeah. Does Midori make pads? Moramon hard stop. That's the best. Need to look for. Yeah, just not bound in a book. Okay, then Moramon. They have the sizes and formats that you would like, and I think the quality is elite. All right, let me give something away because I'm not sure how much longer I'm gonna be able to stream today. Well, it's almost 11. We're good. Midori does make some glue bound pads. That's what I thought. I just don't know how many options they have. Like Nemocene, who's like, that's their job, is to make those spiral bounds. Looking up East Coast retailer for Moramon. I mean, you can just order from JetPens. I mean, there's a lot. You'll find them. A lot of stores carry them. Need to lose a raffle for getting the day started. Nice. All right, let's see. Do I have any Moramon in here to give away? I should. They've given me so much stuff. What's this one? I'm a letter. All right, I gave away the letter size before. Let's do the A4. This is the traditional A4 5mm grid size. Oh, you know what? I'll send you the Moramon's note too. Let's give this one away. It is literally an old ice box. No bod. We call it the ice box of happiness because that's where all of the stationery lives to be given away. So every time I open it up, happy things come out. So it's the ice box of happiness. But that's literally what it is. It's an old vintage ice box. All right. Yeah, the Clairefontaine Triumph is great. I actually use that a lot, and I use it a lot for pin reviews. The other thing about the Clairefontaine Triumph, it's one of the few just like stark white pages, which are really, really hard to find, right? Rhodia will do stark white, but they don't do blank. The Clairefontaine does it and does it blank, so there you go. All right. Let's do this giveaway, and then we can chat for a little bit more. And then I gotta go do some shipping and some writing and some podcast editing. Alan Shootco with the gifted sub. Thank you so much. Oof. Let's see. All right. Mormon. Let's say Nemo. So this is the A4 A4 Nemesine pad. It means you're awesome. We're giving away the A4 Nemesine pad. So one of the awesomer paper products on the market. Is that open? Yeah, it's open. Okay, go. Exclamation point raffle. You don't have to be a subscriber or follower. You don't have to live in the United States, even though this will cost me like a freaking bajillion dollars to send around the world. So hopefully you live in the U.S. if you win this one, but I don't care if you don't. It's worth it. It's worth it, y'all. It's just a weird size. You can come back. Yeah, you can come back, hang out, no ads, ad-free viewing, emotes, and general awesomeness. Badges. We don't need no stinking badges. I have a friend of the show with Toasty Treat. I got to get some editing done on that, so it may not be out today, but look for it in the next day or two, y'all Penanic members. TPA, pocket notebooks, and Fire and Fire should be delivered today. Nice. Thank you for the order. I saw that the other day when I was packing it up. Appreciate it. So I got to work on that this afternoon. We're shipping. Guess who spilled some diamine earlier? Okay, so what are the spill details? Desk spill onto the lap spill, into the hand spill, onto a notepad spill. Let's hear the details. Schmevelin with the gifted subs. Toasty Treat and Molly. Thank you so much, Schmevelin. Everything. Oof, that's the worst kind. Ink everywhere, because you will find that for days. Oof. All right, so how did you spill? How did you spill? Let's do that. How did you spill? Just turned around, knocked it over. How do you knock over a diamine bottle? Those are little chunky base bottles. Well, I have lots of questions, Strings and Pedals. We should do an emergency podcast. Strings and Pedals knocked over ink. 30 milliliter bottles are easy to tip. Good point. Good point. Drilling into my desk and it vibrated too much, so it was just sitting there open, is what you're saying? Yeah, I forgot about the small ones. You're right. Still remember when I destroyed a notebook with some Heart of Darkness. So you were working with an open bottle of ink on your desk. That's all we need to know. All right, let's pick a winner here. Pick a winner. Why close the bottle? True. I mean, you're in and out of the bottle all the time. I get it. That could be taken a certain way. You need it every 5 seconds. Yeah, I get it. Pick a winner. Oni P. Definitely winner. Definitely 2-time winner at least. Definitely 2-time winner. You there? You need a Twisby ball. Yeah. I don't know if I'm saying your name right. Oni P. Are you there? I now have a hole on my desk. Nice. I know you're a previous winner, right? I'm certain. I'm confident in the fact that you're a previous winner. Despite the fact I don't know how to say words or your name. O-N-E-P. This is your lucky place, right? How many times have you won? This is at least number 2. Email me your shipping address. I'll get this out today. I'm getting everyone's giveaway stuff out today. Second time. That's what I was thinking. So yeah, if you email me soon, I will mail this today. Otherwise, it'll be Monday. All right. People out here not believing me. All right. All right. See you, Alan. Go be productive. It's almost time for me to be productive. Um, what else? What else we got going on here, chat? Oh, I thought I could stop that in there. All right. Postcard arrived yesterday. Nice. We'll do some more postcards next week. LA County Yarn Crawl. Nice. So next week we'll work on some writing. Next week, so Pen Addict members, I'll be sending a kind of a schedule update. I have vacation coming soon, so stay tuned for that in your inboxes. Stay tuned for friend of the show, Toasty Treat. What else we need to talk about? I got a few minutes here. I'm going to do some pen cleaning. So I might do should we do a pen cleaning stream? I want to clean my pens before I go to the Atlanta Pen Show. So maybe next week we'll do a pen cleaning stream and then a re-inking stream. Maybe that's two different streams. Pen cleaning, pen inking. Enjoy the cliffhanger. Toasty Treat. We had a really good conversation that you have to listen to the end. So we'll do pen cleaning next week and pen inking. Pen show, what's your plan for attending? Okay, we'll do that. But I'm gonna go like Friday noon to Saturday noon. We'll do a bunch of pen show talk. So I guess next week we'll do pen show prep, essentially, right? So get the pens that I want to take ready, which will be a small batch. Molly with the gifted sub, thank you. Thank you, Molly. I like your autocorrect, Schmelin. That took me a minute. So yeah, so next week do I have an in with Skylab Letterpress? Yeah, a little bit. Are you serious? Like I have such an in that I almost feel like that's a joke. You may not know though. Brad, have you tried any of the Laban Greek mythology ink? Yes. Positive thoughts. Gray and orange. Yeah, DM me strings and pedals. Yeah. Brad, will you have any of your pins at the pen show? You need to email me a list of what you would like to see, and I will happily bring them. So just remember, I'm going to be there kind of limited. You know, Friday afternoon. I'm gonna spend the night Friday night, so I'm going to come like Friday noon and then leave sometime Saturday morning. Like noon. But I'll be there in the hotel. So you need to email me, say, hey, I would like to see this, and I'll bring some non-inked or inked or whatever we need to do. Yeah, strings and pedals, like, definitely. Her Hermes is way light, all the rest are nice. So yeah, the ones I've tried are pretty cool. Mysteries. I saw the Orlando. Yeah. Yes, that's Skylab Letterpress. I saw the Orlando is like the second week in September, first week in September. Well, I don't know. It's at least an interesting date that actually might work. So, I mean, I haven't looked at my schedule. It depends on what I do for DC and San Francisco. So, we'll get through Atlanta and then we'll figure out the plan. Friday and Saturday? Gotcha. I know in the Amsterdam's in June, that would be, or I should say Dutch Pen Show. It's not Amsterdam. The Utrecht Pen Show. September is Boston. Boston's very compelling. Just for the fact that y'all are going to be there. And doing things. Doing Apple Boomy things. So that's cool. All right, we're going to wrap it here, chat. I got to get to work. I got bunches to do today. Trying for San Fran since there'll be a big brew presence. Ooh, that's a good point. I got to make a decision. No shows near Idaho? San Fran. San Fran. Do it. Do it. All right, so next week we'll do pen show talk, pretty much. Pen show prep talk. So we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. All right. That's a wrap today, chat. Should we... Is there anyone to throw it to? I haven't been looking. Toby was extremely good. He was hanging out in here, then he left on his own, which is not always like him. Let's go to Sleepy Bird Art today. Because they might be working on something for me. I mean, not today. Keep up with your plan on eating well. You seriously look amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Carol. I really appreciate that. And I'm really taking it serious, and we really got a ways to go. So we're jamming. We're jamming. I'm feeling really good about how things are going. All right, let's go see Sleepy Bird Art, who is drawing today. May or may not be making some emotes for me at some point in time. Let's see. Where are we? Raid channel. Oh, thank you, Molly. I appreciate that. I really, really do. Yes, that is what I'd like to do. All right, y'all go say hey to Sleepy Bird Art. They're doing some art, doing some digital art, but you know, maybe some emotes, maybe doing some things like that. You know, not mine necessarily, but we rated them doing some journaling recently. So let's go say hi now. See ya.